From Rixey, this is All Staff. Welcome back to All Staff. We've got a couple great guests today. If you guys would like to introduce yourselves, this is it's great. We've got two individuals that are like Rixey through and through.
I am Gina, also known as Nilce of Nilce Music, and
I am Nathan, host of Butter.
Cool.
And I'm the air horn guy.
He's the air horn guy.
Air horns.
So yeah, how are you guys doing?
We're good. It's a good Sunday night. I'm making dinner. That's gonna happen. Damn it! Hold on. You talk.
Tell the people what you're making.
For dinner, we're doing a citrus salmon with a chopped Greek salad and crispy smashed potatoes and onions.
Very
surprisingly
fun.
gluten-free and dairy-free.
Nice.
There's a lot of fat in it, though. It's just olive oil.
Also nice.
Just all the olive oil. It's not dairy-free. There's a ton of butter
That's
in
true.
the onions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds so good.
And together, we own the restaurant Jackleg. So we were each separately Rixey artists,
Yes.
started hanging out, really liked hanging out, and decided to open a restaurant together.
Yeah.
That's a much better way to phrase it than you usually do.
Yeah.
You did a good job.
That sounds great, y'all. Sounds really good.
No, things are good. We have new ideas for new projects.
Great.
That's why we're here.
Before we get into each individual, new project, why don't you kind of tell the people about the restaurant? And it's worth stating that we tried to do this recording a couple days ago. It failed because of technical difficulties, so we're doing it again. So if it sounds weird that we're having to re-say things, that's okay. That's totally okay. So yeah, tell us about the inception of Jackleg.
Jackleg was originally supposed to be a restaurant, a pop-up called Trash Bar, where I was going to show up at a fancy restaurant, take over the restaurant, and serve a bunch of shit with spam in it. And I had showed up to one of Gina's events at Noodleheads, and she was about the same age. We had good communication between each other, and I thought that she would be the perfect person to kind of help me realize some of my stupid ideas. So we opened a sandwich restaurant.
Yeah, so tell us
Nice.
about you got the bar, you got the sandwiches. Give us the whole summary.
Sorry, I'm telling my bartender how to make a Manhattan because it's her first night
Ooh, it's
running the
important.
bar. So I'll be a part of this conversation.
Work never ends.
So the concept of the restaurant is a place that you can go and have food made by somebody that's passionate, drinks that are made by somebody that's passionate, and not have to pay out the ass for it. So a lot of the labor and a lot of the way things are made are trying to cut down cost without sacrificing quality in any way, shape, or form, and be able to pass those savings on. Like I grind my sausage in-house just so I don't have to pay for sausage every week. Gina makes all of our concentrates and syrups, so the base cost is lemon juice and lime juice and sugar, and so we're able to make a high-quality product because we have this control freak nature in both of us, and because of that, you can have an elevated experience without having to pay that same elevated price point. So it's almost like a Richmond, DC style college town restaurant in a smaller town. And
Yeah.
I think we're just trying to scratch an itch that needed to be scratched in town.
Absolutely needed to be scratched. I agree.
And I also think we both are really enamored with the idea of being like a community spot. And obviously that's hard to do right now because of the times in which we live. But I'm excited for as herd immunity starts to take hold and people are getting their vaccines and all the good things are happening, that we'll slowly but surely be able to add live music and trivia and all of the things that we want to do to be like a community hub, which I think
Yeah.
is really a big part of the goal.
Also, we
excited.
just got a soft serve machine.
Oh, thank God.
Very fun.
Dole Whip
Yeah.
coming March 1st.
What is that?
Dole Whip is a ice cream substitute that's non-dairy, and it's like it's pineapple soft serve, and so
Oh,
we're gonna dump dark rum in it, and you're gonna eat it.
oh man,
You're gonna eat
that's
it. You have no
that's
choice.
You don't have a choice.
You don't have a
exciting.
choice.
You're
Welcome to
gonna eat
Jackleg, open wide.
Yeah. What kind of like pitfalls have you guys had since obviously opening during a pretty difficult time?
Has it been a
Um,
difficult time, Mace?
It's
It's been a difficult year.
it's been a difficult year,
We haven't taken a paycheck in 8 weeks.
There you
which
go.
is fine. Like we're doing what we love, and it will rebound. But it's cold. People are afraid of getting sick, and it's the usual January slump. If you work in restaurants, you know what January and February looks like. And because we opened in the fall during a pandemic, we didn't have time to build up this cushion that restaurants usually build up over the course of the year to get them through January and February. And it's been a little brutal, but we're in our first year. We're really not doing that poorly. Everybody's getting paid except for us sometimes. And it's good.
There's been a bit of a learning curve as far as the business side of things go, and also people. Like trying to manage. We have a staff of 11 now, and
Yeah.
everybody's got their own wants and needs, and trying to manage all of those things has been a larger task than we anticipated.
Yeah.
And it's also, I think the other hard part, and this is very coronavirus specific, we do live in a small town where people have varied opinions about the pandemic that we are currently in.
Yeah.
And as a
Yeah.
business owner, there are certain rules that I have to enforce. Like it's not,
Of course.
I don't care what you believe or think, or we
Yeah.
have laws. And that has been
That's hard.
challenging. And people can sometimes be downright hateful, which is just, I don't understand it. But,
Yeah.
we're
Yeah,
plugging
some
along.
people some people don't want to follow the rules, and that's unfortunate.
It's very
Um,
unfortunate because I know you all are just trying to do the right thing for everyone involved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But your restaurant is so great, and I can't wait for it to become the community hub that you're sort of both speaking on, because the food's awesome, the people that you employ are awesome, and the drinks are awesome. The energy, it's just very good. I'm so excited for both of you.
I was complaining to my mother about how stressful it was, and she did this thing where she goes, "I told you when you opened it, it was going to be so busy you wouldn't be able to handle it yourself," and I was right. And I think it's going to be even busier than that this summer, so you need to chill out. And I was like, "All right,
Oh, yeah.
Penny with the tough love.
yeah,
That's a good point.
Well, the restaurant is not the only reason you're here. Obviously, you guys have future endeavors with Rixey, and so that's partially what we're going to talk about. So, Nathan, if you want to tell us about your idea.
All right." So I have a podcast that I'm going to start recording in the next week or two called Joy Factory.
Tell us
Nice.
about
Tell
it.
us about that.
So Joy Factory, I'm coming to terms with the fact that I am a very anxious person, and in the winter a very depressed person. And I think I adjust my media intake based on that subconsciously. Most of the media content that I consume is upbeat in nature. My favorite movie is Paddington 2. Another one is Fantastic Mr. Fox, Grand Budapest. They're all things
It's a great
about
movie.
people trying to grow and be better people. And I watch them and cry. So I listen to Butter. I'm very proud of what I produce, but for me, it's not a re-listenable product. And that's a sentiment shared by even the largest supporters of my podcast. So I wanted to create something that was lively and fun and positive, something that when you've had a bad day at work and you've got an hour commute home, I'm going to listen to Kenny and Nathan yell about Destiny for an hour and, like feel a level of positivity. So I wanted something that was lively, re-listenable, and also joyful. So we're going to talk about things that are making you happy currently. Like Gina and I are bonding very strongly over Allison Roman recipes here lately.
Mhm.
And I also want to talk about, because of the pandemic, everybody's been so insulated from the rest of the world. So everybody has to take a self-inventory on what their habits are, what their negative habits are, and how those affect people around you. And I'm seeing a lot of people trying to improve who they are as people for the benefit of those around them. And I think it's important to talk about that, because sometimes in the pursuit of self-improvement, you can feel isolated. And I think it's important for people to talk about, like, hey man, I've got an anger problem. Hey man, I have a hard time getting out of bed. And okay, well, what are we doing in order to help with that? So there's going to be a level of seriousness and almost self-help to it as well, but not
Cool.
overly so.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Have you now? You mentioned to us the first time we tried to record this that you had kind of a lineup of individuals. Now,
Yes.
my thought was, would it be easier to have you and Kenny on the show as the staple hosts, and then have people like call in or come in? I mean, have you given any thought to that possibly?
I think it could be that, or it could also, I think, a rotating cast of characters. So like Nate being the constant, and then having maybe like 4 or 5 people that come
Yeah.
back on like
Yeah.
a rotating basis would be really cool.
I'm going to be real with you. Kenny and I's interactions scratches a very specific itch. It's loud.
Yeah.
We said this when we did it on Friday, and I just need to reiterate, if you know who Maddie Matheson is, if you don't know who Maddie Matheson is, go Google Maddie Matheson and watch his YouTube videos now.
Of course,
You
yeah.
won't regret it. But Kenny is Maddie Matheson. And so picture Nate with Maddie Matheson, and that's
There
him
we
and
go.
Kenny.
Yeah.
Then you
Yeah,
all have struck gold.
Yes.
Yeah. That's what I'm
and I also
saying.
think
Maybe Kenny's the guy. Maybe Kenny's the co-host for good. I don't know. I'm just saying, think about it.
I kind of like Gina's idea of having like 4 or 5 rotating ones, because then it doesn't put too much stress on anybody else.
Yeah.
To being a
Yep.
constant show, it makes
get
it like,
that.
hey man, I can't do it this week. It doesn't get pushed off. So like if we have a friend named Richard who is a strong intellectual and likes reading books and stuff, and that may wow, I sounded like an idiot.
No. I understand.
He
what
likes
you're saying.
books and words.
Strong intellectual.
He can read.
My name's Nathan Rivas, and I do not like to read.
Only cookbooks, man.
I don't even read the
Pictures.
stories.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was showing Gina cookbook pictures literally as you made that joke.
Oh my
There you
gosh.
go. There you go.
It's beautiful.
All the photos. They're beautiful.
But I think having a different groups of people that have different interests and having call-ins on those, even like if we find a core group of 4 people that all have a different flavor to them,
Yeah.
and you know, hey, I really like the episodes with you and Richard, or I like the episodes with you and Gina. It's really nice to hear about how hard you guys work on your relationship and stuff like that. So I think it does something different with each person that we have on it.
Yeah. No, man, I think it's a cool idea. I'm all for it.
Awesome. I'm super glad about it. I also want to start writing music. I'm in the process of doing one song right now. I'm very bad at it.
It's hard, man. It's
Takes
hard
time,
stuff.
man.
I'm not good.
You're an awesome guitar player, though. So
That is also not true
that's
anymore.
a start.
No.
You were okay. You were once an awesome guitar player, man. So that's a start.
He's an incredibly dexterous guitar player.
There we go.
We're teaching him the theory stuff, and it's making him feel like he doesn't know anything.
Big
But he'll be
words.
fine in like a month and a half.
You also you have Gina with you, so I think there's
Yes.
hope.
And so we want to, once she figures out how to get it through my skull, we're going to work on some things together.
Good. That seems like a good segue into going into maybe what Gina wants to share with us, if I may.
Yeah. So Gina, tell us about. Are we looking at Jump Ship? Is that what we're looking at?
So I think we're looking at Jump Ship, and the struggle that I'm having with Jump Ship is I'm just not into it anymore because I recorded it
What don't you
4
like about
years
it?
ago.
It's been years now.
It's
right?
not that I don't like it. It's just that I wrote it 4 years ago, and so it's kind of a different version of me.
Yeah.
It wasn't 4 years ago. It was like 2 or 3, but still.
Yeah.
So I want to release it, but I don't know that I want to do anything big with it. Like I almost just want to like do a graphic and then drop it and be like,
Yeah.
hey,
I
there's
don't
a
hate
song
that.
out.
I don't hate that at all.
But then I have 3 songs that we demoed previously that I want to get really intentional with and probably spend like a month on each song, just really kind of picking apart the production and figuring out what I want it to sound like. And releasing a 3-song EP because they're all kind of connected. It's Warmer, Roam, and Bleed.
Nice.
Which I think we demoed in like the first session I ever did with you
I was
guys.
gonna
Oh my
say,
gosh.
have we heard?
I want
those?
to. Yeah, I want to look back on.
Yeah,
on that
I'll
now.
send you. I have them in a folder in the Nilce Music Gmail, so I'll send that to you.
That's awesome.
But
And you brought in. Are you bringing Brian Sauerwald into this?
I'm gonna bring in Brian, partially because he's super talented. He's done
great,
remixes
yeah.
of the
He's done
last 2
remixes.
releases, and just his work is really, really good. And he wants to try. He's never really done folk stuff before, and he wants to kind of make a foray into that.
Yeah.
But he's also part of my like quarantine pod because we work
Of
together,
course.
so we're
Yeah,
around
he's
each
in
other
the
all the
Jackleg
time.
team.
Yeah.
So we can actually like get together and work on it in person, which is I'm much better at that than trying to do things virtually. I like being
Shout out to Brian Sauerwald.
for real.
gotten to
Go
meet
check
him
him out on
once.
Spotify. He's awesome.
He's helping me with my song as well.
Oh, nice, dude. Yeah, he's so talented. I'm
He's very
really
patient
excited
with
to hear more from him.
Yeah.
And the stuff that you guys are working on, I'm sure is gonna be super cool. I'm so excited to hear early demos of that.
And it kind of so those 3 songs kind of catalog a breakup. Like probably 6 months before a breakup and then like through the process of being angry and then kind of understanding the other person's perspective. So it's kind of a little concept piece.
Yeah.
Now let me.
And they're all also super folky.
Okay. Let me ask you this.
Yes.
When were you? Well, first of all, when would you like to get Jump Ship out the door? Like,
I mean,
release-wise.
intro into spring might be good because I feel like it's kind of a spring, especially the super produced like pop version feels like a very spring summer song to me.
Okay.
So if
Yeah.
we wanted to release that like first day of spring, that would be or around there.
Yeah. What is the first day of spring?
Is it March 21st?
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah, I've been doing some research about like how to be more effective with music releases, and the things that I've seen say that you should try to upload to our distribution, like our DSP, about 5 weeks out.
Okay.
So,
I mean, it's ready
yeah.
to go. I could upload it now and just set a release date for it.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you can pick a Friday in late March, that would be.
Oh, or we could do it on my birthday,
which is what day?
April 1st.
That would be good. What day? What day of the
That'd be
week is
super
that?
cool. Yeah.
I don't know.
And there's
Look at the
art
calendar
done
here.
for this release already, which is super
April
cool.
1st is a Thursday.
I don't think we've finalized it.
What we have options though, right? Wasn't
Yeah,
there
I
art?
have the Jay did
Yeah.
a piece for it. I just haven't actually finished the art yet. So yeah, that won't take long at all. Probably a day or
which
two.
you are obviously welcome to bounce off of us if you need any help with that. I
Absolutely.
know obviously you and Mason collaborated on kind of the last finalized product.
I've been really happy with all of the art we've wound up with.
Oh, it's so cool. Yeah, it's
Did
Yeah.
we?
it's
Yeah, I was
super
gonna say,
cool.
did we come up with something, Gina?
We have Jalen
She did the
who did the
drawing.
art.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the first 2 releases. It's a pirate ship.
Yeah.
And it's in the same art style. And since I do feel like those 3 songs are kind of like
Yeah.
a triptych of sorts.
Yeah.
They're not really connected, but they are connected.
The production
I
is
kind of want to
similar, all
keep
of
the
that,
continuity. Yeah. And so I'll start playing around with I have the high reses on my computer, so I'll start playing around with them and see what.
Yeah. I mean,
Cool.
I like the direction that we did for the last one for Reappear. I think something in that same vein could be really cool.
Yeah.
Or at least an iteration of that.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this: how do you feel about remixes?
yeah. Mason wants to remix
I want to
it,
remix another
and
song.
you know
okay,
I'm
remix
down.
it. Remix
I'm
it.
definitely down too.
I'm down. I would
Okay.
love to. There is a part of
So
me I
fun.
can hear the pages in the recording. Stop flipping through the book and listen to me talk about
Hey,
my
cookbook
songs.
guy.
Um,
Hey,
remixes. If you want to do a remix, do a remix.
I'm
I
down.
would kind of love to do an acoustic version, but I don't know how to accomplish that. For those of you
You have a
listening
good
on the
mic right in front of you.
podcast, I do. I need somebody to play guitar. For those of you listening that don't know, I have a neurological condition that sometimes makes my hands not work, and it's been pretty bad recently. I've pulled out my guitar a couple times the last couple weeks, and it's not gone
Yeah.
well.
Chord thing?
What?
Is it a 4-chord thing?
I could probably teach it to you.
There we go.
I got you.
If not, I
Alright.
was gonna offer, or I was gonna say Brian should do it because he's also a guitar player as well.
Yeah. So we can figure that
good
out, and I can
options.
probably do a quick turnaround on that because I would just want it to be guitar and vocals. Just keep it really, really simple and clean.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
I also just got a new guitar.
love that.
I think if we did so if we stick to just the single on April 1st, then we can start pushing around like remix ideas. So I could probably ask did you like Danny's remix of your last song?
The house one?
Yeah, Danny House.
I like that one a lot.
Would you
yeah.
how would you feel if I asked him again?
Absolutely. I think that's a great plan.
Okay.
He's actually.
I don't
in the
know that I
process
want
of-
like 14 of them,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Monster, which
that
was super fun.
A lot.
Look, it was
We do what we do. You know, you just try it.
it was a tall order and we did it and it was fun and maybe we won't do that ever again, but regardless, you know, it was fun because there was like
It
a
was fun.
million remixes of it.
It's one of those things where like when you start learning more about Spotify metrics, it was a horrible like marketing business decision.
Yeah.
Because now there are like 8 million versions of this song.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to pick a different one they like. And then
Exactly.
each one's
Right.
going to get like 50.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it just, but it was fun.
Yeah,
And
it
that's
was-
really
it
all that
was really
matters.
fun.
It was fun and it was goofy and that's what matters.
Wow, that happened.
So I will talk to him. If Brian wants to do one, he can.
All right.
Anybody that you can think. Well, we can hold that for maybe mid-April or early
Okay.
May, just so that we don't rush it.
Yeah.
How quickly can we get stems for that?
I think they're already online.
They're already online.
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
they're
cool.
in the
Nice.
they're in the main project folder, or should be. If they're
Nice.
not,
That's
just
great.
let me know.
I'll double check. I'm pretty sure they're up there.
I want to ask one more thing, just because we kind of just glanced over it. How can we help your process for your new EP, or
Yeah,
the
that
stuff,
was the next
the
thing.
new songs?
So
What can we
I want
do?
you guys, if you guys could, sorry, I just cut you off, and this is a podcast. My brain's not
It's
working.
okay.
Wait, no,
Um,
you're good.
I want you guys to listen to the demos. So I'll send you the folder that I have all of them in, and just
Cool.
kind of give me initial notes and thoughts, because I'm not
Yeah.
opposed to some like rewrites and messing with the actual structure of the song. Like I really
Mm-hmm.
want to dig into each one and make it as good as we possibly can.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because I feel like sometimes there's this push to just like get content done, and I want to kind of slow down and really dig into each song.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree with that.
So send me notes on the demos themselves. I'll take those notes and then I'll get with Brian and we'll start working. We're going to start with Warmer. That'll be the first one I want to work on.
Cool.
And so just get me notes as you have them. I'll work with Brian and then I'll just start sending you guys demos of whatever we're working on, and we'll just do it collaboratively that way.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Nice.
I talk with
And
my hands.
I know Brian's a really talented producer, so I imagine he'll be a part of that recording
Yeah.
process. Did you have any idea what you wanted to do for a recording process? Because by the time we actually maybe start finalizing stuff, studio might be able to open at that point.
There's a
Um,
part of me that would love to do both a stripped down, like full on, fully produced, slightly pop folk recording,
Yeah.
which would be great to do in studio. But then I would also love to be able to do a live band version of it.
Yes. I love the idea of both of those.
Yeah.
I really want to. I
Um,
want to get you and Brian into the studio in a room so we can actually start. Like, that would be the dream. I feel like.
Yeah. And I feel like we're not far from that being a possibility.
Yeah, I agree.
So it's
I'm
just
saying
kind
that
of doing
I'm
as
half-
much work
I'm
as
half
we can.
vaccinated, so
We're still waiting on we filled out our form. We're waiting for the health department to get back to us, but
yeah,
we're close.
feel you on that.
Well, similar question here. In assuming, I don't know how long the process will take, but what do you think the release schedule will be? Like, how far out do you think it might be? Months?
It's February, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
No, I don't think that far. I think
When do you realistically
Remember,
think that they
we're
will
going into the
be
busy
ready to
season.
press?
I think June or July,
Okay,
Cool.
great.
Yeah, that's great.
realistically.
Yeah, I just want
Because the bulk of the song is already written.
yeah.
So I'm not starting from like a blank slate. We're just taking each
Yeah.
one and kind of picking it apart and then rebuilding it. So the core is already there.
Yeah.
The vibe is already there. So I think a month a song is probably realistic, and that gives me enough time because there's so much else going on to really take
Yep.
each one seriously.
Yeah.
That makes sense. You all are both doing a lot, and we appreciate you making time and carving it out to join the all-staff meeting.
Yeah.
Can I pass it back to Nathan really quick? Because I did have one more question about the podcast front from him.
I'm also willing to talk about my song that is not fully thought through.
Oh, well, I didn't mean to gloss over that at all.
It was super hurtful.
Nathan, I'm sorry, man. Yo, dude, I'm sorry. We can talk about that again, but I'm gonna ask this question real quick. What do you think about season 2 of Butter?
Season 2 of Butter would probably be a radical shift because my perspective on it has changed a little bit. You know, as a pizza guy, I was working in a small space, and we talked to people that were kind of in similar situations. We had Sobo as a food truck. We had La Chia Paneco, which is also a food truck.
Of course.
And now I'm seeing a larger portion of the restaurant industry. And I think it's important that Gina be a part of it because what we've done together is important. And also, our most dynamic interviews were with partners.
I like that. I hear you.
Well, remember the Bo and the Rebecca episode? I think that was probably our most lively episode.
Yeah, that might have been because of Rebecca. She's a lively character.
But Gina,
Teamwork, right?
I kind of had this idea for like, I don't know if it'll be a season 2 of Butter or another project, but initially when we were opening the restaurant, season 2 of Butter was going to be like us field recording like in the middle of opening a restaurant, which was great in theory, but in practice,
it's very tough.
I think I have like 20 minutes of footage like from that entire time just because we were running around like chickens with our heads cut off.
You are working so hard.
But I would love to do like 20-minute episodes, just kind of like talking about the process of opening a restaurant and the challenge of opening a restaurant during the pandemic and talking to other restaurants that are kind of figuring out how we exist in this new climate. And then partner that with some YouTube videos of us doing recipes, both on the cocktail side and food side, because I know you guys are working on some YouTube content. So I thought that it could be a fun segue into whatever's next for Butter.
I think that's really smart.
in some level of secretive news, my father is talking about opening up a bar in Culpeper as well. So we may be looking down the barrel of doing this all over again in about a year.
Oh my gosh! What?
That's great. Good for him.
Different concept. We're not gonna talk about what the concept is, but it's a potential.
I really want to hear.
Super
I really
exciting.
want to hear more about that. How dare you, Nathan?
Well, it's sports themed, but not trashy.
Cool.
Okay. That's cool.
Think classy sports.
Let me
Think about a man who had 11 mistresses.
I don't know what to do with that, Nathan.
I don't know if that applies.
I'm not gonna pin. I'm not gonna pin
just
that on
type in-
Sal.
Not my father. Just type in sports and 11 mistresses, and you should come up with something.
What are we talking
Is
about?
that
Are we
like,
talking about Tiger?
Is the okay?
So
I was
the sports bar is themed around Tiger's downfall. That's what you're saying.
Yep, it's an infidelity based restaurant about Tiger Woods.
Awesome.
With a virtual element.
We actually, because one of them was a Perkins
I like-
waitress,
Yeah,
we're serving a lot of Perkins food.
Oh, dude.
Perfect.
Perkins
is trash.
Don't you dare bring Perkins into this. Dude, I love. Oh man, I could go for a biscuit from Perkins right now. Old times.
Gina,
Good
So
times.
Gina, can I ask you what do you know if the field recordings that you got could be used in some capacity? Like, for
They
example,
probably could.
For example, if it's like you guys are deciding the menu and you use that as a clip in an episode where you're talking about like the first couple weeks or the could some of
I'm
those be
gonna-
parsed into larger topics, right? So like you
I think they absolutely
talk
could.
around that small clip.
I think they absolutely could. I need to get all of that I recorded and kind of parse through it. There's like one of us having a meltdown because we got a cease and desist from another business
Yeah.
on our branding. And there are a couple other ones that definitely could be referenced as story beats.
Let me
I wish I'd gotten more. I'm super bummed that I didn't.
No. You got
pull it
These
out
are the
more.
deep cuts, dude.
You got
this is what the
some.
fans come for.
You got some, and that's what matters. Can you send me everything that you recorded?
Yeah.
Because
it might take me a week or two.
That's okay. What I'd like to try and do is listen through it and see if there is an arc in it that we could build. Right? So like, the most early stuff is the first couple episodes, the middle stuff is the middle, and so on and so forth. And
Yeah.
see if we can say like there's a topic here, there's a topic here, there's a topic here, and make it just a limited like mini series.
And that's what even if we can't piece together a narrative from those recordings, I want to piece together a narrative, and I kind of want each episode to chronicle a different piece of the process.
Yeah.
Like there were 6 months before we even had a lease that Nate and I were working on menu items and testing things, and we weren't sure if it was even going to happen.
Yeah.
And so
And you have
even just
recordings from
talking
that?
about that, I don't, but I remember it. I
But
have
that-
my
yeah, it
notebooks.
can be a part
you
of
know
the-
what I mean?
the
Like, it can
narrative,
be-
yeah.
Yeah.
Also, the story of how it opened is hilarious.
Yeah. Well, so and that's
Go on. Is that all you have? I thought is that a cliffhanger, Nate?
No, well, I mean, I can give you a brief summary of it.
Okay.
well, don't give too much away because it
we
might
may
be a
or may not
series.
have stalked the landlord.
Okay.
Yeah,
That is a great place to stop because I want to see if we can turn this into a real piece of content.
It's funny how quickly a podcast turns into incriminating
Another podcast.
evidence.
Yeah.
This
podcast
podcast is brought to you by El Jefe Grande Tempranillo.
This podcast
I
is going to
know.
get a cease and desist if we keep talking.
Yeah.
They're from Spain. It's fine.
No. I think we're just about at time, but I think that's a great place to leave it. If you can send me those field recordings, and then we can look for I'll look for those stems for Jump Ship. And then send us those demos.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do that.
Also,
So
I'm
excited.
going to record the first episode of Joy Factory on March 2nd.
Okay, cool.
Gina
Nice.
has a thing that she's doing at the restaurant, and so I'll have the first episode. I'll send it over to you guys as a proof of concept, essentially.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you guys can get some
Run
notes
tape.
on it.
Yeah.
I have a couple different ways that I can record that. I'll text you guys and we can figure out what the best option is because it'll just be in the living room. Luckily, my house is pretty dead as far as
Yeah.
sound goes. It's not super, super echoey. So I think it'll be okay. But I have a couple different mic options and stuff, and I'll just
Cool.
get with you guys on what the best case
Yeah.
option is.
How many inputs
Yeah.
do you have? Do you have 2?
I think I have 4.
Okay, even better.
Oh, nice.
Even better.
Yeah, it's doable.
This is just handy. It's the Spark Digital, so it plugs directly into the computer. I don't even need
Of
to pull my
course.
interface
Yeah.
out.
You don't have
So
to-
it's just
yep.
handy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
I think you all have made great use of it tonight. The fact that you're able to sort of just duck in and duck out, I think that actually works really well. Nate, if there's any way that we can support you in that demo of the podcast, let us know.
I'm going to go ahead and record it with Kenny, so that'll be definitely a livelier episode. I have, I think, 5 people lined up currently, and I'm going to record every Tuesday until we get it done, and then that
Love it.
way you have content. You can go ahead and roll it out. As far as branding for it goes, I want it to be super bright. I don't want it to be as clean as Butter was.
Less clean.
I want bright and I want chaotic almost.
Cool. Nice.
Okay.
Think about art. Yeah.
we have a couple artists that we're working with right now for stuff with Jackleg that might be
Yeah.
able to make something really
love
fun
the
and cool.
Jackleg art. So I'm totally with that.
Yeah.
So I really want to invoke warmth and hominess from this podcast.
Muse might be good.
That's true.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, no, it's good. Good to start the conversation on
Gina,
that.
really quickly, just so we can save ourselves a text conversation. What mics do you have? in your arsenal?
So I have 2 Shure Beta 57s.
Okay.
Beta 58s. Hold on.
Are they
Beta
rounded
58s.
or are they like pencil?
They're rounded.
Okay,
They're the
that's-
Beta
that's
58s.
58.
They're
Yeah, those are great.
yeah,
Those
so
will do the
they're
trick.
performance mics. I have this one, and then I have a couple condensers that I can't remember the brands of right now.
Use the 58s. That's your best bet.
Okay.
All
All
do
right.
you
And I might have pop filters.
if you do use them, if you don't, it's okay. Do you have table stands or mic stands?
I have mic stands.
Okay, just
I don't have table
just
stands.
use those.
Okay.
Yeah, mic stands are helpful. Obviously, the noise of touching a microphone.
And we can get some in a couple weeks. We should be able to get like a little podcasting setup if we're going to be doing a ton of recording from the house. But until then, if we can just make mic stands work.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
Just a rule of thumb, Nathan. If you want to just make sure like there's no phones on around you, if there's like as little noise as possible, if you want to put like a big blanket on the table, that should help as well. And then if you can in the next couple weeks, I would go on Amazon and just buy like 2 like $5 table stands. They're like super cheap on Amazon. That just so you don't have to set up boom arms every time you want to record.
I also have a Yeti that does the figure 8 pattern. Would that be better, or would the
Honestly, that could work well. That could work well.
I would. The only reason I
You
would
just need low volume.
the only reason I would say no is because it picks up so much, and those Beta 58s.
That's true. They are a little noisy.
Those Beta 58s are directional, so they get just
They're designed for a room
Okay.
like that.
the,
Could be loud.
those condensers
All right,
are gonna pick up everything.
What timestamp are we looking for on this?
I would say, don't go over 45.
Okay,
But-
it's going to be long form. So it's basically like, how long can I do this
Yeah,
for?
I would say 45 is a good place because anything over that, and I don't know. I find that 45 is a really solid number.
Okay. Do we want to do an even split between, hey, what are you doing that's making you happy right now, and then the self-improvement talk? Or do we want to keep the self-improvement talk a little bit smaller just because it can be heavier?
I want you to do whatever feels comfortable. That's what.
Okay.
That's a
that's
first
what
draft, man.
matters.
Gina has an opinion.
I don't need to voice it right now. I'm just letting you know I have an opinion.
Voice it.
I think that it'll vary. I think if we're doing an episode, it might be a little more self-help oriented. If you and Kenny are doing an episode,
It's going to be a little bit more joy oriented.
it's going to be a little more joy oriented. Like it's going to kind of vary based on, I think, just follow the conversations.
Yeah, that
Good
keep it
point.
to a flow, which I think will be a little bit more captivating to a listening audience.
Yeah.
Rather than keeping it to a strict schedule.
Yeah.
Because I think my biggest complaint about Butter was the voiceovers had a habit of sucking out the energy of the conversation. Like Bo and Rebecca were super bright and entertaining, and I was really trying to find my footing as a voiceover, and it ended up coming out like this. So Bo sells tacos.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Wow, you just gave me flashbacks.
the vibe of the show was serious, and so that's kind of what we were going for. But this is the direction you want to go, and that's fine. But yeah, just go with
which
the
is
flow.
fine. I'm good with it. I'm not complaining about how it was, but I am not a serious cook. I'm a talented cook. I work very hard at it, and I think my presentation on Butter was at odds with how I cook in the back, which is like,
makes
we're
sense.
gonna boil
I
this
get
beef
that.
stock down till it's goo and add it to mayonnaise.
Yeah, Nate.
It's real tasty.
I get that. Dude, I get what you're saying. It's good to have some self-reflection on all of this, right? This is going to be a first draft.
I think it was more of a
personal.
personal reflection more so than it was a complaint about the show as a whole. Because
Yeah.
it's just
Yes.
I'm not a serious person, generally speaking.
Yeah, then that's fine.
Dude, you seem so
That's fine.
serious. What are you talking about?
That was the I think the like roadmap of the show was to be like mature and serious and like documentative. I don't even know if that's a word.
It reminded me of like a BBC.
Yeah, it was NPR. That was the idea.
Serial. Yeah, NPR.
yeah,
Very
I mean, that's
NPR.
definitely what
Well, there's also
we were
this level of
attempting-
growth.
the main editor
I'm-
was attempting to go for.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
NPR. How I built this. That was our equation.
Well,
It was great. You're just silly, and you want to have
And-
an
yeah,
outlet
and
to
that's
be
totally
silly.
fine.
It's
And
fine.
then
Well,
now
I'm
joy
also-
comes into the picture.
Yeah, well, I'm also coming to this point where growth as a cook, where I'm a little bit disgusted with chefs that take themselves super seriously, and even in
Yeah.
my media consumption as far as YouTube, which is where I learned to cook, uh,
Hmm.
I'm at a point now where you find these people on here that are so self-important, and I'm very turned off by it. And then I find
I
people
get
like
that.
Allison Roman or Internet Shaquille where they're like, "Hey man, cooking is supposed to be a joyful act," and coming in
Yeah.
here and getting intense about technique and everything can kind of suck that away from it. And I, I I guess it was a crisis of identity more so than anything else.
I get that, dude. I totally get that.
All right, guys. Appreciate your time, and
Yeah, thanks for coming on All
yeah,
Staff.
really appreciate it.
It's good to talk to you all.
Good to talk to you guys.
All right.
Hopefully we'll see you soon.
Listeners,
Yeah.
thank you. We will talk to you guys next week. Bye bye. All Staff is a production of Rixey, edited and mixed by myself, Daniel Walker, and Tanner Carlton. If you want to keep up with all things Rixey, follow us on Instagram at rixey.co. That's RIXEY.co. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, leave us a review and rate the show. It really helps out.